Well, I'm sitting here in Milwaukee. Been here since towards the end of April. I hate it. My son's mother and her family, the Moon family, have been hard at it, trying to set me up and falsify things. 30 cops that lost their jobs have been hard at it, trying to set me up and falsify things. I got raped by one of them. One of the ones that was at the mental institution when I was being followed by the FBI. This really fat, ugly one, like incredibly ugly. Um, Switched my mother's test results when she had a stroke. She came into the hospital at the hospital here, around here. It's in West Dallas. Um, let's see here. People have been lying to other people about me and using audio to try and manipulate me or manipulate other people's beliefs of me. I'm being slowly lobotomized. They're using primary and secondary thought response control. They put so much feces and acids up in my head that my skull's weak. And when I got jumped by Eddie, a guy that was hired by my son's mother's father to buddy up to me in their gang of the outlaws that hired the GDs to do Inception on me, um, he beat me up because we got really drunk and he got drunk. And even though I was going to rent the room from him and renting a room from him and was invited to stay that night, he kicked me out and I came back. And then he spazzed out and he beat the shit out of me. And my backpack with all my stuff got stolen. Like my phone, that got stolen too. Like my clothes, that get stolen. Dirty clothes. Like my garbage, that gets stolen. Psycho people from the sheriff's department have been stalking me and harassing me as well. Corrections officers are also planning on utilizing bogus statements. They've been using lookalikes and threatening to commit crimes to more or less have me incarcerated until I talk, or to take over my mind once I'm inside and make me look like a real jerk to everybody on the planet. So people turn their back on me and to falsify some sort of a statement. I'm really sick of it. I hate it. Dirty cops killed my grandparents. They posted it on the side of a boxcar in Madison and told me to look for that, for a special message that would be on the side of a boxcar when I was on my way back. Because of course they can anticipate what happens tomorrow with the neurokinetic equipment and the use of hallucinogenics that they've been steadily pumping into me. See, Goofy's up. Uh, been raped, molested by cops, stalked, and they're trying to set me up, and I'm sick of it. And so I continuously upload to YouTube and other places. Also, the gangbangers that are connected to Ronnie Fuller and the feds utilize their mind reading controlling equipment and magnetics and stuff like that to destroy my life. They're incredibly pissed I don't want to join any of their gangs. And they continuously lie about me. They were paid to, apparently, from what they claim, they were paid to try to set me up to have me murdered. They wanted to wait until I was charged with something so I would be murdered inside. But now they're discussing doing it outside because I'm telling too many people and I'm telling on too many of them. So they also threatened to go after the rest of my family. They used ether on me to photograph themselves with me, and they used ether on my grandmother to keep her from waking up. And then they actually had the balls to say everybody feels real bad about that, sarcastically. Scott Jeske, Paul and Geraldine Champeau, a couple of them. Michael Moon and the Moon family, my son's mother Melissa, threatened me, and her sister threatened me, and her brother Michael threatened me. Her sister Michelle, anyway, threatened me. There's some niggers from the north side that have been utilizing my internet and my phone, threatening me, trying to falsify things. They've been bumping my calls, taking over my calls, taking over my internet, taking over my maps. They would limit the amount of signal that I get so that way they could send and receive calls over my line. And I'm really getting sick of them. They lie to everybody. And I'm not going to just sit here and take it. Kevin Brown, who changed his name to Jacob, just punched me in the head, in the face, outside a bar in Green Bay where I was held captive for 2 days and a night, where even Ronnie Fuller himself was sitting at the bar listening, and he was disappointed and disturbed how things were going, and he wound up leaving. But he was still a part of it. Go figure, you know. Can't trust the federal government. Can't trust anybody. Not in this world. Still single. Never married. It's June 19th, 2015, and it is 12:42, I think, 12:41 p.m. And they falsify the times that I'm awake so they can falsify things happening. One of their favorite things to falsify is some kind of a relationship. And they quite literally not only rape and molest me, both in awake and dream states, but they try to falsify relationships and things happening during dream states. Whether it's something to do with drugs, or whether it's something to do with relationships, or anything, you know. Like I said, they falsify primary and secondary thought responses, and I'm incredibly sick of it. Constant psychotronic torture, constant audio harassment, physical torture, physical pain. They overloaded my body with sodium in an attempt to try to make it so I don't feel them binding my intestines to compress my spinal column. After they load my intestines full of feces that's dried out, and they utilize acids to eat at my brain and to eat away feces that they put in there repeatedly. They've done so much. I've been suffering for the last 13 years from these sick people. They separated me from my son's mothers, and they want to make me look bad to my sons. And they lie about me with that in an attempt to set me up so that way they don't care that I'm gone. And so that way nobody gets hurt by what they've done, even though they don't care if anybody gets hurt. Like they didn't care that my grandmother died because they used ether on her. So they're all pissed off because they want money. They make it a personal business to try and falsify crimes and falsify reasons to use this dream state interrogative process, this mind reading interrogative process, and the anticipation of spoken words. They antagonize me to try and get me to respond and lash out loud back to them, to try and falsify statements and falsify whereabouts. I've never lived in Waukesha, don't plan on it, and they're trying to falsify me being there constantly. And the dirty cop that raped me and other of these sycophants try and claim something in the way of relationships and marriage, but I've never been married. I've been forced to sign documents that were blank, like statements, certificates. I imagine probably even one for marriage. But for the record, I'm single, and I'm probably going to die that way. And if I have anything to say about it or do about it, I'm going to put half these people in prison if I can. And if I can't, then I guess that they're going to have to be taken down. And that's just the long and short of it. So my question to all of you is, do you have something to tell me?